There we go. There we go. Important win, an important win. Hawks win 4-3 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. And how about that one? Hawks really outside of the first handful of minutes dominated through this game. So let's talk about it. Before we talk about the game, I do want to talk about a trade that happened. The Hawks get Brett Connolly and Riley Stillman the rights to Henrik Borgstrom, whoever that is, and a seventh round pick from the Florida Panthers. And what do we give up? Lucas Carlson and Lucas Wallmark. Players that I've only mentioned a few times this season haven't necessarily been big players on the team, so it's not a huge loss. Depending on how Connolly and Stillman play, this could be a win for the Hawks, for sure. So now let's talk about the game. And they get off to an awful start as just about a minute into the game, a good play in the boards squirts out to Del Zotto, who's in the corner, sitting right at the blue line. He fires it on Lankin, and somehow it beats him. A weird shot, and Columbus goes up 1-0 in the first minute, 5 seconds. Then we get to a really bad play by the Hawks defense as Kalynuk tries to clear it around. DeHaan leaps over it. And it's right on the stick of Jack Roslovic. He throws it in on net, and Cam Atkinson's right there to basically tap that puck past Lankin. He kind of got caught up with the post because he was going so fast into the crease. But regardless, Columbus goes up 2-0 in the first 5 minutes because the Hawks defense cannot clear the puck. And Cam Atkinson gets back on the board against the Hawks. Great, you're down 2-0 in the first 5 minutes. If this were many other Hawks games throughout this year, I'd call this game a lost cause at this point because, especially recently, the Hawks have not been able to win games unless they score really early and often early in the first half of the game and are able to hold off the defense because they cannot find a way to score in the back half of games. About 6 or 7 minutes later, the Hawks are on the power play. It's winding down. They take a couple shots on net, missed it. So then it finds its way back to Calvin DeHaan, who sets up Alex DeBrincat for a one-timer that gets in the back of the net. And for some reason, the Hawks, they now get the power play goal. Power play has been one of the weaker things the Hawks have been on it recently. It's really frustrating since we saw how great this power play unit was early in the year. They have fallen off significantly in the second half of the season. So getting a power play goal here is pretty big for the Hawks. And yes, that's right. Calvin DeHaan made a good play. He got an assist on this goal. He set up Alex Springer. He did a good job on setting him up. I'll give you that one, Calvin. Nice job. About 5 minutes after that goal, Hawks have a face-off in the Jacket zone. They win the face-off. DeHaan gets it back to what I would assume is Kalynuk. He fires it. It's blocked. Carpenter gets a whack at it. Doesn't, progress far. Camp gets a whack at it. It kind of does maybe something. And then Carl Soderberg's right on it. And he lifts it over and into the net. Carl Soderberg gets the goal to tie this game up at 2. And when the Hawks had a terrible first 5 minutes, we'll go into intermission tied. To start the second period, we have a bit of a quirky play here. About 2 minutes in, DeBrincat intercepts a pass back to Seth Jones, and he takes off with Jones defending him. He tries to drive it in on Merzlikins, can't quite do so, and Merzlikins and DeBrincat go down to the ice. The peg comes off, so play stop, but they kind of are practically hugging as they both come down on the ice. It's just a funny sight to see as both of them just kind of slide down on the ice, practically hugging each other as they go down. I don't know. That's just kind of something I wanted to mention because it's just kind of funny. Well, let's go. Come on. The Hawks won. I'm in a lighthearted mood. Come on. About a minute after this, one of the wackiest goals all season occurs because Pius Suter is behind the net, gets it back to Wyatt Kalynuk, who then just throws it on the net, and it goes in. Wyatt Kalynuk gets his first NHL goal on one of the wackiest plays you're ever going to see, and I'll get to that in just a second here. But great to see him start to perform as he's kind of filled in here for some defensive issues. And he gets his first goal here. I'm glad to see it. Congratulations, Wyatt. Now, this is awkward because Stenlund put it into his own net. And not in the way you'd think, where he just kind of whacked it into his own net on accident. No, he dangled it into his net on accident. Weirdly enough, that's probably the best way I can describe it. Because the shot is initially wide from Kalynuk. It looks like it may have hit the post, but it doesn't, hit anything. It kind of slows down. Stenlund's got it right in front of the net. He tries to knock it away from the post, ends up putting it in front of the net, and he, his instincts as he was like trying to pull it out and then get it out and behind the net, because it went in front, he hits it into the net before quickly backing it out. Meanwhile, Merzlikins has no idea what's going on. He actually is falling down at this point as Stenlund gets it out of the net. But after extensive review and having to look at this play a lot, probably about like 10 times, to finally get the call right, they end up going with it as a good goal. Stenlund hits it into his own net and gives Wyatt Kalynuk his first NHL goal. A really weird one, but his first goal nonetheless. Hawks up 3-2. Then we go over 10 minutes of pretty much nothing. And then behind the net with about 3.5 to go is Adam Boqvist. Behind our own net. And he comes out to start the attack. Gets a long lead pass to Alex to break it, probably over half the length of the ice. A powerful pass from Boqvist. To break it, slows it down, gets it to Doc, who then gets it over to Strome, who then wham blasts it past Merzlikins, and the Hawks tack on 2 more here in the second. It's 4-2 on a perfect shot from Dylan Strome. He's finding the net more. He's been finding the net recently, and that's good for him because he's been struggling at this mid to late point of the season. He's getting in the back of the net here, and that's really important for Strome. Just before the period is over, Lankinen makes a good save and is pretty much shoved into his own net, and a little fight ensues right in front of Lankinen's just got his head just buried in this pile of Jackets and Hawks, and they're just kind of going at it in just a pile, not even like kind of standing up and just kind of jabbing each other. They're just down there just in a scramble, just kind of like gripping each other's jerseys, like, we're not going to fight yet, but we're going to show that we don't like each other kind of vibe, I mean, outside of that, that was just kind of humorous, another little humorous event here in the second period. In the third period, Lankinen shut the door, made some fantastic saves down the line to keep the 2-goal lead. The funniest part is that he made like 2 or 3 glove saves that looked pretty much identical to each other, probably from different shooters, but they looked practically identical in the way that he grabbed the puck with his glove, just kind of like grab it, not even like kind of like one of those flashy like kind of saves, just kind of stick it out, grab it, and just kind of sits there. And it was kind of in the similar position as well. It was really weird, but regardless, up until the last minute of the game where the Jackets have the empty net and the extra attacker, the Jackets get it over to Patrick Laine, who snipes it on Lankinen, and the Hawks run out the clock. 4-3 is your final score. Probably should have been 4-2, but if that's going to show you anything, the Jackets did practically nothing outside of the first 5 minutes in the last minute. So there you have it. A nice 4-3 win for the Hawks. Please beat them again. I would really appreciate it. That's kind of important because we're starting to... The gap is closing in. It's really close right now. We're really having to fight for this spot now. Anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Make sure you hit the like button if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you really liked it. And I will see you guys next time.